don't think that Rusty would be here today if it wasn't for the farmer's dog. He was.
Hi, everyone. So excited to have you all here today. I'm by myself. Alex is on the other end. So if we have anything that I miss, hopefully I'll pay attention to what he's texting me. Sometimes I forget to look at my phone. I get so into what I'm doing. So once again, as I've always said, if there is an issue and I don't answer your question, please email me. Oh, my sign's not quite showing. See, I don't have Terry here to make all my adjustments, but anyway, I'm so glad you're all here. Thank you all for coming. This is, we got a couple of minutes here, so I've been trying to just say hello to everybody, but now I'm going to close my laptop so that I have room here. I'm in real tight quarters just because, you know, we only have camera view. So I will be showing the down view when I do my demo for the bowl cozies. And until then, I've got everything just kind of all sitting around in different spots. I have my laptop, or I mean my iPad sitting here because my laptop is too far back for me to type. So if I type anything in the comment section, I can do it here on my iPad. But then, you know, like I say, once I get started, it's a little too crowded to do that. So anyway, I hope you all are having better weather. We had 41 degrees here today. Oh, it was so nice. It was so much nicer, but I have a sick little dog. So this little dog of ours, she's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. She's the sweetest little thing in the whole world, but I'm telling you, she is so needy. There is always something, there's always an issue, it seems like. And, today she was just not herself. She's got an ear infection and oh my gosh. So anyway, so I've been dealing with that when I had other things that I really needed to deal with, but she seems to be doing a little bit better. She's just not herself. So any of you that have pets know what I'm talking about. And those of you who don't are probably saying, I'm really glad I don't have a pet. And I don't blame you. But anyway, so we've got, let's see, 9 o'clock. So we're going to get started. I've got, as always, you know, I try and keep it to an hour, and sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. So I've got my notes. That helps to keep me on track a little bit. But as you all know, I do tend to ramble a little bit, and that can, you know, cause a bit of a delay. So I appreciate you bearing with me. And like I say, if you have questions now that I don't see because I don't have it close at hand, please email if it's something that you need an answer to. And my email is mary@joyfulandmaryquilting.com. So one thing I want to let you know, I get a lot of emails with people that send me tech issues about their computer. And I don't know, you know, I don't have those answers. I can answer quilting questions, but when it comes to tech issues, if it's something that's particular to your computer, you know, I can give you a little bit of advice from the little bit that I know, but chances are if it's something on your end, you need somebody in your area or your home to give you a hand with that. You can also email Alex, info@joyfulandmaryquilting.com if it's something to do with either our website or the patterns or something, just to help you through that. And we are more than happy to do our best to try and answer you. But if we can't, if it's something that's local on your end, then whatever you can do. Sometimes it's just best to ask somebody that's right there that can give you a hand rather than get you all confused with me trying to give you information when I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that. I want to share a merry moment with you for this week. When I say merry, it's kind of bittersweet merry, and I've shared this with some of you already. But there was I work with Project Linus, and we give blankets to seriously ill and traumatized children. That could be children in a hospital, in a shelter, through a social service agency, police and fire department, camps for kids that are going through tough times, just that sort of thing. And I have a lot of, it's been 26 years, so I have a lot of amazing and wonderful experiences where a situation that may be not so good can at least have a glimmer of hope or a glimmer of merriment when a child receives a handmade, and we say blanket because we have quilts, we have fleece blankets, and we have Afghans knitted and crocheted. So it's kind of, we lump them all into one category of blanket. And this last week, there was a tragic accident in our town, and a little boy lost his life, and his classmates were all, they're 10 years old, and kids, that's just such a rough thing for kids to go through, especially if you know what it's like. When I was, growing up, I had a situation, and I never forgot it. It just really was something that just stayed ingrained in my mind. And I wish somebody would have given me a blanket. I wish that would have happened. I think it could have helped. But anyway, I was able to take blankets to the classmates of this student. And usually with Project Linus, we don't have interaction with the kids, privacy issues. And so we basically leave them with those in charge, and that's it, and that's fine. That's all we just want to make sure that they get where they need to go. We don't really, we don't need to go and peek in on what's happening. We don't need to receive a thank you. That's just not our thing. Our thing is to be able to offer that comfort. So anyway, par for the course. I made my delivery. And when I came home, then I received a note, and I wrote about this in our newsletter, that I received a note from the therapist that works with the kids. She actually went to school with my son, which was so bizarre. Who would have thought? And so we had a little conversation, and she just thanked me, and she said that they were being handed out. Well, in the mail, this is my merry moment. First of all, you can see, look at that cute little card. Came in an envelope with a picture of all the kids with their blanket. It was adorable. I can't show you because, again, privacy issues. But I just want to share the thank you note. I got this note, and it says, "Dear Mary, I do not even know where to begin. I'm so incredibly touched with your thoughtful donation of blankets to my class. What a very kind and caring thing to do during such a difficult time. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing comfort to these precious kids. They were all so happy, and I was told that many of them keep the blankets close at home. Thank you for being such a bright light during a very dark time. Please thank everyone from us. And again, thank you." And then it was signed from the 6th graders. It just gives me goosebumps to read it, to even talk about it, to share with you. Sorry. But I just want you to know that if you're ever involved in either Project Linus or a similar organization, or if you're just able to give comfort to anyone through the gift of a quilt or a blanket, if that's what you're making, I can tell you how much it's appreciated. And you may not even realize it at the time. And we don't need the thank you. We just need to know that during a tough time, we're able to offer something to someone that might give them a glimmer of hope. And that's what I think quilting, I think we all realize, as quilters, how special that experience is. We have the added luxury of being able to select the fabrics, select the pattern, write the note, put on the label, do all the things, put the stitches in, and really put our heart and soul into that gift, which, sometimes people don't often realize that. And that's a whole different category. We're not going to talk about that. But what we do know is that when someone wraps it around their shoulders, that's a hug from us. And that's just something that's really special. So I just wanted to share that with you. Is, again, as I said, very bittersweet, because as much as it brought me joy to read that, it was a moment of joy amidst a very difficult time for some really special kids. So, I'm glad that I was able to help out with that, help their teacher, help their families, help them. And I hope that if you have that opportunity, you do the same thing. So anyway, that's that. it is not too late to register for the 30-day challenge. I saw that Judy said that she's got her darks already cut. And this is what we're making in the challenge. Now, last year's challenge was really fun. It was called Embracing Our Scraps. And this year's challenge is called Discovering Stars Among the Scraps. And we are going to be learning how to make this. Now, some of you have asked me questions about it. I want to know a little bit more detail about the pattern before you commit. And what I'll tell you, I mean, I can't share the pattern with you, but what I can tell you is that in this pattern, we will be exploring. My courses and patterns aren't just, here's how, make this, but rather I feel like I want to take you from start to finish in a way that you're going to learn something. So this one kind of escalated. It was originally going to be just a foundation piece pattern where I would really teach you how to connect your points to a precise center, be able to put things together in such a way that you're going to have a quilt that you would be very proud of. And then I thought, well, some people don't like foundation piecing. So I added in the template piecing, which for me is not my favorite. And I would rather do the foundation piecing because I feel like I get a more accurate finished product in the end, but some people don't like it. They just struggle with it. And so I added in the option of template piecing, and I have a little instructional part of everything comes with a video. All the PDFs come with a video. So there will be foundation piecing tutorial, and then there will be a tutorial teaching you how to use templates. And then there's also a tutorial on how to just piece it from cut pieces without using anything else. Again, not my favorite, only because I think for me, it's a mind game trying to put things together and making sure everything is exactly the way it should be, where I don't really have to think about it with foundation piecing. You just sew on the lines and you're done. But again, some people prefer that. And as I did it, this is a fun way to do it too. It's quilting. So there's 3 ways to do it. I teach you how to cut your scraps, depending on what kind of scraps you're going to be using, whether it's plain old scraps or fat quarters or 10-inch squares. You can do any of that and you can still create this really great pattern. So 30 days of fun. It starts Monday, February 3rd, but those who sign up now, you already have a calendar of events. You get an assignment for every day of the challenge. If you want to double up on the assignments, you'll get done quicker. But each day you'll have an assignment. You'll get a calendar with those assignments with a checkbox. You'll also get some preparation instructions of your supply list, what you'll need. Nothing extra, no special rulers, none of that kind of stuff. I teach you how to do it with what you have. And then after that, we have Zoom sessions, if you're interested, where you can come, you can ask questions, you can basically show off what you've done so far. That's the beauty of Zoom, because we can talk back and forth rather than just me talk to you and then you have to type. So you can show what you're doing, and then hopefully that will inspire you in the 30 days to get that quilt top done. But if you're going to quilt it yourself, you can do that, send it to the long armor, whatever you want to do, but all the instructions are there. So anyway, if you're interested in that, it's going to be so much fun. And I'm really excited to teach those techniques as we go along the way. Go to joyfulandmerryquilting.com/challenge. That's it. Challenge is the key word. That will actually take you to our free scrap busting system. It's a handout, and it just kind of goes through. If you're trying to scrap bust, you need a system that's going to work for you. You can pick and choose off of the list whatever you think will happen. You're not going to cut things if you don't use fat eighths. Don't cut a bunch of fat eighths. Cut what you need, but it just gives you those options. So that's free no matter what, whether or not you participate in the challenge. If you go to joyfulandmerryquilting.com/challenge, you get that part for free, and then it will give you the option of whether or not you want to sign up for, go one step further, sign up for the challenge. And then also, if you've never gotten the Embracing Our Scraps last year's pattern, that's an option on there too. Now, if you go and you just want the free handout, that is A-okay. You are certainly welcome to do that. But I've had people that have actually been upset thinking that I'm twisting their arm to do the challenge and charging them for that. You don't have to. You just click no thanks. I'm not interested. It's okay with me. But I would love to have you as part of this. I feel like it's really worthwhile, that what I teach in the course is something that will be a benefit to you in quilting courses that come up, or patterns that you'll be using that you can then do on your own. So I think it's worth it. But anyway, so that's that. That is what's happening. we will have our day one begins February 3rd, but that's okay. You can join anytime. Your day one can be, you know, April 2nd if you want it to be. It doesn't matter, just as long as you set a goal for yourself and then you go through and complete those goals and you get a great looking quilt in the end. So anyway, that's that. Of course, I'm always here. If you have questions, you can always ask me and I will do my best to answer them, you know, along the way if there's something that you need to know. And hopefully the videos that I've already done will explain everything. I encourage you to watch them, read the PDFs, and then if through that you still have questions, I'm here for you, or the Zoom. Okay, so that's that. I have a really great quilting tip video this week. It will come out on Wednesday. Our tips videos come out Tuesday or Wednesday, usually, sometimes Thursday, but usually Tuesday or Wednesday. This one's coming out Tuesday or Wednesday. And you get a free pattern with it. And it's to make this pillowcase. And here it is. Look at these. Aren't these cute? There are two different ones here, just because I made two. I always have to make everything. Actually, I made three, just so that I can come up with the handout. But it's a free pattern that you'll get. You have to watch the video on Wednesday where we'll give the link. I don't have the link yet, so don't ask. But it actually is a full-size pattern. Actually, it's just slightly larger than the standard size pillowcase. So it really works nicely with all size pillows. Look at it's for Valentine's Day. Isn't that a fun Valentine gift to give to somebody? A useful gift, Valentine's Day, coming up February 14th. Or maybe you don't want to do it for Valentine's Day. Maybe you want to make it for Easter. Maybe you want to make it for spring. Maybe you want to make it for a birthday. Anything like that. You can just adjust your fabrics and create it. But I want to tell you that it's really, I think, a unique way to do it. One of the things that's really important is when you make it, there's no exposed seams. And as you can see, the little edging along here, I teach you how to do that. Just a really fun pattern. So this is going to be Wednesday's quilting tip video. It'll be the whole video will be the quilting tip. But then, like I said, you can go to our website and you can download the pattern and then go back and watch the video again and make it yourself. And it's not hard. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. We've been talking about doing this for a long time. Finally got it together. So that's that. Tonight, however, we are going to be doing the bowl cozies. Now, I introduced this on daytime quilting last Wednesday, and I told everybody we'd do the tutorial tonight. So I didn't do the full tutorial on Wednesday. Wednesday is just kind of a intro, look what you can buy and look what you can make. So this is the small one. I just put a bowl in here to show you, but this is the one that you would use, like cereal bowl size, soup bowl, that kind of stuff. But then this particular Creative Grids template has two sizes. It has this big, huge size, which I had never heard of or seen before. Now I put this is like potatoes or whatever, you know, a large bowl that would go on the table. But I've also seen where people have just taken the bowl, the cozy, filled it with candy, filled it with goodies, anything. It doesn't have to be candy or food. You can put anything in here on the table, and I have a display. And I just thought it was just so cute. It was easy to do. Again, it uses scraps. This month is all scrap stuff. So you can use leftover. It works really well for leftover fat quarters, because the pieces that you use are either 11-inch square for the small ones or 16-inch square for the large one, which is just perfect. You can get several out of this because, you know, fat quarters is 18 by 22. So you can actually 11 inches, you can get two out of the fat quarter with some leftover. And then you can get actually one out of this, the 16-inch. You will need two fat quarters, but I like it with the two colors, the two fabrics anyway. I just think it looks nice. The other thing that's kind of cool is they are reversible. So you can turn it inside out. If you've got a really cute fabric, you just turn it inside out and you've got the same thing, only it's the other way. So, you know, whatever you like, whatever works for you, you can do it either way. And I had not seen the large one. I'm going to demo the small one because of my space issues. So it's just a little easier for me to do it that way. But I'm going to, first of all, the template looks like this. Okay, it's hard to see on here, but it comes with two. The large one is on the outside, and then the smaller one is nested inside. So the large one has kind of a hole in the center, but it doesn't matter because you're just cutting around the outside. And then that hole is for the smaller one. So this is it. The instructions are on the back. I mean, it just tells you everything. But Creative Grids also gives you, oops, it came out. Creative Grids also gives you a video link. When you click on there's a QR code on their rulers. You go there and it will take you to a video, and then you can watch their video as well. Like I said, I did change things a teeny bit just because I did it several times, and there were just a couple of things that I thought were a little easier for me to do. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I am going to switch my camera so that it's in the down view so that you can see it. And I am going to just use the smaller template. So this is the smaller one. You can see that it's got a rounded edge, then it's got two edges here, and then a square edge. This is for the darts, and then this is just for the edge. And then those cute, which I thought were just adorable, those cute curves here, rather than the points that we've seen on some of the bowl cozies. It's just an alternative, just a new design. And you can do it. It's very easy to sew. And again, makes a great gift. So especially now, it's cold right now here. I know that, Australia, it's not cold. So I know you can make these and then give them away coming up in the winter season. But actually it works for ice cream too, because if you've got a cold bowl, and then you put this around it, then your hands don't freeze. So versatile. Anyway, okay, let me move my camera. And hopefully I got this. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Okay, I'll try and make it so that it's not crooked. Okay, I did it. It's always so hard when Terry's not here. Okay, but I don't want to make him feel guilty about it. But he is a huge help, and he knows that. Okay, so this is our template right here. It's a little hard to see on the gray. Let me move this, see if this helps a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit more helpful. So we've got, oh, I think I got the camera upside down, do I? Okay. All right, so here we go. I'm going to use my rotating mat because it just works a little bit better for me. Now, what you need, again, as I said, it works really well to have fat quarters. So here's the fat quarters. Let me see if I can flip that around. Sorry, everybody, don't look if I'm getting you seasick. No, sorry about that. I thought maybe I could give you a better view, but we're just gonna have to go with that. Okay, so these are the two I chose these two fat quarters. When I cut my piece out, you can see for the small 11-inch, there's a lot of extra here. So we can actually get another one out if we wanted to. We could actually make the bowl cozy the same fabrics if we wanted to, but I like to have two different ones. And then, you could make another one if you want. But I thought this fabric was so cute. It's, what is it called? It's Afternoon Tea by Beverly McCulloch, I think, of Flamingo Toes. And it's a Riley Blake fabric. I had the fat quarter stack. I've used almost all of it, but I had these still left over. And look at it, they're just so cute. So I thought, oh, that's perfect for a bowl cozy. So that's what I used. And I cut my pieces out. So I have two of the 11 inches cotton batting. You have two of those, and then two 11-inch squares of my fabrics. Now, remember, this is so important. This is the disclaimer. You cannot put this in the microwave if you are using anything other than 100% cotton. That includes your thread. So even if you have 100% cotton thread, or I mean, if you have polyester in your thread, it can still catch fire, which is really scary. So I want to make sure if you're thinking about doing this, make sure that you've got everything 100% cotton. Now, if it isn't, or you're not sure, because some of my scraps, I don't know what they are. I use 80-20 a lot. So if you're not sure, just don't put it in the microwave. You can take your bowl out, put it in your cozy outside of the microwave, and you don't have to worry about it. So that's just what you need to remember with this. Do not put it in the microwave if you're not sure, or if you've used anything other than 100% cotton. Okay, so this is what we have. These are the 4 pieces. The next thing that we're going to do is we need to use our template, and we need to cut everything out. But you also need to quilt. You need to quilt these pieces to the batting in order to hold them in place. So you don't. If you look at mine, you can see on the sides I've got those lines that are. They make an X on my bowl cozy. It just holds everything so that it doesn't come apart when you are actually washing it. So we want to do that. Well, in the instructions, it tells you to cut everything first and then measure it once you've got those curved edges. It's really kind of hard to measure it. Once you've got the curved edges cut, you have to fold them. It was kind of a pain and mark it. So what I did instead was, I don't know if you've heard of a Hera marker, but these are an amazing little tool. Look at that. It's just a little white tool. It has an edge. It's plastic, but it has an edge that's rounded here that you can crease your fabric for quilting. And I've used them forever. I've had them forever, but they really are helpful if you have never used one before. So what you do is you put your batting on the bottom, and then you lay the only reason you're putting your batting on the bottom, you need a little bit of cushion under it in order to get the crease out of the Hera marker. If you can't, if you don't have that little bit of cushion, it doesn't crease it well. And I tried to do it on my ironing board, and it did not give me as good a crease as it did just on my batting. So what I'm going to do is I'm lining up my little square here so that my diagonal line on my cutting mat goes right through it. But an 11-inch square has a longer diagonal than a ruler that I have. So I've had to use my great big ruler. And I'm going to have to stand up. What I'm going to do is just mark from corner to corner. Here's how you do the Hera marker. You just do that. And I don't know if you can see it, but look, that is not a marked line. That is just a crease. So then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do it again, corner to corner. And this is going to be my quilting lines. Now, we're always looking for better light. We buy all the lights because we need better light. But actually, you don't need better light when you are doing this. Actually, you need less light, because that's what's going to show this shadow of the crease. Now, I like to put pins in just to hold it in place before I quilt, and you'll need a walking foot on your sewing machine. You can do it without, and actually I did these without, and it was okay. But it goes through a little smoother with a walking foot. So that's my thought on that. I put these pins in, and here's my X. So I'm putting them just as far away from the X as I can get. I don't want to go across there. And I'm going to take and I'm going to sew a quilting line here and here on both pieces. Now, when you do this, I increased my sewing machine stitch length to a 3.5, which is, usually when we quilt, we use a 1.8, 1.9. When you sew garments, maybe a 2.2 to 2.4. But when you are quilting, you need a larger stitch. It just works better. What you need to remember is that when you have finished quilting this, in other words, when you have finished sewing these 4 X's or 2 X's, 4 lines, you need to switch your machine back to about a 2.2 for the rest of the sewing. Otherwise, your stitches are too big and they can come out easily. So that's something make a note for yourself. You want to make sure that you do that. So now that I have this drawn, I'm not going to sew yet. I shouldn't have put those pins in there. Sorry. I'm not going to sew yet. First thing, what I'll do is I'm going to now take and fold this in fourths. I'm going to do that to the batting. I'm going to do that to the fabric. So I've got it in fourths, but see, my lines are there and they'll stay there. They will not go away. You do not have to worry about those lines going away. Then if you look at the Bowl Cozy template, it has these two edges that say folded edge, folded edge. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm upside down here, but I don't know how to fix it without, I'm struggling with that with the camera. Okay, so I've got my cutter and I'm going to cut, and cut. Now this is not too hard to do with a rotating mat. I have to stand up. You just want to make sure that your template is inside the cut edges. So I'm going to do one. Then I'm going to go, and this one's a little awkward. It's worse with the batting. But you know, you can still do it. And then the last one is the dart. So you have two darts on here, dart, dart, and then that curved round edge. So that's one. And then I'll do the same thing to this one. I'm going to fold it in fourths. This is the easy part. And fold it this way. And, you know, it's just, if you've made the Bowl Cozies the other way, which I have, and they're great, they work just fine. There's always somebody that comes up with a new idea, you know? It's like we think we know everything, and then somebody comes up with something that makes it just a little bit easier. And I saw this. I didn't see a video or anything. I was in Stitch and Sew quilt shop in Arthur while my dog was getting her hair groomed. And I saw this along the wall, and I thought, I've never heard of that. And so I'm in an awkward position here, so that's why I'm struggling with my cuts. But I thought, oh, I'll give it a try. Well, then when I watched the videos on it, I was sold. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. Isn't that cute? You can still see those cross lines on both of these. Here's the other one. And then when I do this one's a little harder. I did not try it with a 60 millimeter cutter blade in my cutter. I thought about it, and then I just didn't know how many people actually had that. So I thought, well, I'm going to demonstrate it with the 45 just because that's what most everybody has. So we'll go ahead and do that the same way. Folded edge, folded edge. These are the raw edges. So that's where we're going to cut it, and then using my rotating mat. Now this is where it helps to really hold it down, because that's going to help you get that cut. Sometimes the cut, I found as I go around the corner, it can be a little jagged. So you can just trim it up with your scissors if you're having trouble with that, or just redo it. Don't take the template off until you're satisfied with the way your cut looks. This is the worst part, I think, out of all of it, is cutting the batting. You can see I've got a little jagged edge right there. And then I'm going to turn it again and cut that off. So here's all my scraps. And this is rather thin batting, so I wouldn't do anything thick, or, you know, you're going to really give yourself a workout. But that's how this one looks. Then, you know, you'll do the same thing to this one. And, you know, you've got a little wiggle room, not a lot. So you want to make sure that you folded it pretty accurately, corner to corner over here, so that you've got batting all the way to the edge when you put it with your fabric. Now, it's very forgiving when you do it, because, you know, it's curved. So you do the best you can when you go around the edge. And that one came out pretty good. And you can see it's a little bit jagged, but it won't matter. You know, that part won't matter. Okay, so we're done with this. Now is our quilting time with our batting and with our pieces. This is where you're going to line everything up all the way around the edge. Now, the suggestions I saw, once you've lined it up this way, is to turn it over, because you can see better when you turned it over. You can see better that you've got it lined up right. You can see I'm a little bit off here, so I'm probably a little bit off down there, but it looks pretty good. So once I have this, I'm going to sew on this side. So wherever the V is, that's where I'm going to put a pin. Pin the V. 1, 2, just to keep it so that it doesn't shift. Okay, so there's 3 and 4. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Put my batting on it. And see that it's good. And I'll turn it over. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I did pretty good in that one. How about that? Okay, same thing. I'm going to do my pinning at the V. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I'm going to sew here and I'm going to sew here. Now you can see if you wait to mark it, whether you can use tape if you don't have a hair marker or whatever, you got to find the midpoint over here to do that. So you have to fold it, mark it, fold it. You don't need to do that. If you just mark it first, those lines stay there with the hair marker. And I think it's well worth the investment. Somebody said that they use a plastic knife, just a plastic knife that doesn't have you don't want the serrated part because that'll drag. But if you've got a plastic knife or something like that, that'll work too in a pinch. I really like this because it's really strong and like the edge is very nice. I don't have to worry anything about it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew this. Remember, I want to set my stitch length. I'm going to move it up to 3/5. My machine goes 3/5/4 like that. And I'm going to sew this. I do have a walking foot on my machine. So there's one. You can see my thread is caught in there. Okay, so you can see it's got a nice stitch. It's not really huge. It looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to take my pins out. This one you can see a little bit better. I'll hold it up to the camera, but you can see the stitching a little bit better. And, you know, you just want something that's going to hold up. Right now, I'm going to turn my stitch length down because otherwise I will forget. And I don't like to start it out then and have the stitches too wide because, you know, or too long, because as you know, they're not going to catch. We don't have that big of an area to cover here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this just to set those quilting stitches. So I didn't put, I used pressing solution on my fabric before I cut the squares. I always do that just to give it a little extra body. Again, totally up to you if you want to do that. I didn't use flatter on it, and that manufacturer fold, you can still see it in there, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we need to make the little bowl. This is the little bowl. And what we need to do is sew these darts together. You can pin all 4 of them. And since you have batting, you want to be careful right here. You want to make sure that this isn't like tucked this way. You want to make sure that it is smooth under there. So I just put my finger under there to make sure that everything is all the way out to the edge. And then I'm going to put a pin here. And I never pin like this. But you're going to sew here, and you really don't need, it's hard to pin this up close with pins because of all that batting. But if you pin right there, you can sew 1/4 of an inch. I start, normally when you sew darts, you start here and then you sew off the edge, but we're not going to do that. We're going to start down here because it's too hard. You can get this scrunched up since we're using batting here. So we're going to start down here just a little bit off the edge, and then we're going to sew it. So I'm going to actually, all 8 of the darts, which means 4 and 4. I'm going to pin those first so that I can, make sure I smooth it underneath. And then that way I can just sew them all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everything is lined up. This one moved a teeny bit, so I'm just going to make sure it's where it needs to be. So there's one. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Make sure that I've got, there's a little bit of a fold there, so I really want to be careful of that. Again, it's not hard. And if you see how it comes out in the end after all the struggles when you're cutting or whatever, nothing shows. And it makes such a cute little gift. And my daughter Carrie, when I was trying to come up with things, her mother-in-law had made these for their family, and she said we use these almost every day in our house. So whether it's something cold or something hot, it's just a great way to keep your hands from either burning or freezing. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to sew all 4 of those on this one, and then 4 on this one. I'll try and do it as fast as I can so that you're not hanging there. Okay, there's one. I'm going to take my pins out. Oops. Okay, so I've got one. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew the second one. Okay, now you can do a little back stitch here and then go down to the end if you want. You don't really need to here because that's going to be hidden. But the end, if you want, and you feel like, my stitch length was pretty tight, so I don't think it was a huge deal. Okay, so now we've got these 2 little bowls, and we are going to put them together right sides together, which means one of them has to turn the other way. So we're going to do this one this way. And it's going to just go right inside. And what you want to do is match the seams. Now, from what I read you should press these seams open and then match them here. But I'm telling you, I tried pressing them open and they just didn't press open very well. So what I found was a little bit better was just to clip them all the way around the edge. That kind of presses them a little bit. Do you see how that presses it open? And you know, you can do it with your finger pressing, but with the iron, I just didn't find it was easy to do. Now, the first thing you do is you want to connect all of the seams just to center everything. So I'm going to open these up. You can see that they're centered. I'm going to press that with my finger, and the clips work really well here. Okay, do the same thing here. And I've got, oh, that one's not good. Okay, there. And I'm going to clip that. And then here's my last one. Lined up nicely. Then you're going to, remember we quilted it. So you're going to match those quilting lines here and here, here, and then one more. Now, keep in mind, you have to leave an opening to turn it because we are going to sew all the way around this scalloped edge, and you have to be able to turn it. And what you want is you want to try and find as straight of a space as you can. It's not going to be straight because this is an oval. But if I look at this, you want about 3 inches just to be able to turn it. I've got a space from about there to about there that's not too bad. So I'm going to put different pins in here. That reminds me that I'm going to start here, go all the way around, and then I'm going to backstitch, stop here. I'm going to backstitch here too. I'll sew 1/4 of an inch all the way around the edge. Now, if you want to, you can add more clips here just to keep everything in line. Sometimes it, you want to make sure that nothing shifts. But with the batting, I think it holds it pretty well. So I didn't find I needed to. Now, keep in mind, again, right sides together. So you should have batting on the outside on both sides. If you don't, fix it because you're going to be real unhappy. So I've done that already because it takes a while to go around the edge. I did this with a different one. And you can see my stitches, they stayed together. Now, you have sewn 1/4 inch, but it's tight. So I have found you don't really need to clip the edges. You can, if you want, you can go around on the curves and just do a little clip, but you got to be so careful that you don't cut into the stitching line. And it's hard to see because the stitching line, is in batting. So I didn't find I needed to. Some suggest that you clip the corners here, but I didn't really need to do that either. I didn't think because it's the, the seam. So I do know where my opening is, I think, right here. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pull this out. This is the worst part. I think anytime we have to turn anything, I always feel like I'm ruining it. But it eventually does come out. We are able to go to the edge and pull that edge out, go to the opposite edge, and then start pulling there. It kind of is, it's helpful then to get all of it out there. Now you're going to also want to make sure once it's out that you smooth all of those corners and all of those curves so that everything is even. And that's where the hair marker helps once again, which, that little tool for hardly nothing is just, it can, be a point turner. You can do, sometimes they come with a hair marker on one end, point turner on the other end, just depends. Okay, so here I've got it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hair marker this side up. I'm just going to go around all those curves to make sure that you pull them out because they can kind of roll together on themselves right here. But look at how nice that looks when I just use the hair marker. And then I go around and just basically, I got a thread there, I'll have to clip, smooth those edges. Then all that you have left to do is you want to make sure that you've tucked in the opening and then press that. And you're going to top stitch about about 3/8 of an inch around the edge. You want to make sure that you catch that 1/4 of an inch in the seam. So that's why you do that. Then you can do it one more time. You can go around the edge twice, a little farther in, gives it a nice little finish. So here's, look at this. Isn't this just the cutest? Okay, so we pushed it in. Oh, one part I forgot here. And you can see that my corners, or my curves, I keep saying corners, they'll be very nice once we're done and once we've top stitched. So I've got a little bit, that you can kind of roll with your fingers just to make sure it's over. Now, the opening is right here. And this is where, remember, we tried to pick as flat an area as we can because it's really hard to roll it on a curve. But it's not going to show. I'll clip my threads. And as we go around, it's not going to show. You can see, here it is. I'm going to press that. And look, that looks pretty good. Okay. Still rounded. And you just do. Then what we're going to do is we're going to re-clip. We're going to clip here. And we're going to clip all the way around the edge because that can kind of roll and we don't want it to. So we clip, clip, clip. And then we'll remove those clips as we're sewing. But you can see, it could do this or do this, and we want it to stay straight, even. And the clips help us do that. So as we go around, we're going to just clip it. And you want to make sure right here, see how that V, look at how nice that looks. I mean, it looks really good. You can actually, move the clip there if you want. And then you're just going to go all the way around the edge. There's threads here from where I sewed it. And, I would be more careful making sure I had all those trimmed. But I'm just going to go ahead. Look at how nice. And right here, and they match perfectly because those seams are pushed open. And like I say, I didn't press them. I just didn't. Finger pressing worked well for me. So I didn't clip them. Because that also, you can see it just doesn't need it. It stays nice and rounded. I mean, look at how perfect that is. And we're just, but the clipping right now, don't skip this step. Because once you're sewing with your walking foot and you're going around the edge, you just want to make sure that everything stays nice and even. And one last bend here. And then here's our last clip. Okay, so we're going to go around the edge then. And we will sew, and I'm not going to do that now. I did it on the other one. We're going to sew right close to the edge, just probably, a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch all the way around the edge. And then if you want to, there's my 1/8 of an inch. If you want to, you can do it again in, a 1/4 inch or a foot width or whatever you want, all the way around the edge one more time. And just to give it that finished look on the outside, you can see the finished look here. And you can see, it just comes together so nicely. And then I'm going to turn my camera up. Okay, my upside down. Oh, geez. Sorry, everybody. I'm upside down. Well, anyway, I don't think I can. There. It's way high and I'm not going to touch it. Anyway, so there it is. There's our little bowl cozy. And this is it finished. And then again, the larger one, you just do it the exact same way. It's just that it's bigger. So you've got the larger size here, and it works well. This falls down a little bit better. Let me make sure I've got everything. I told you everything that I need to tell you. I hope you enjoyed that. I think that there's so many tools that we can use. Our clips, we can use our flathead pins, we can use our templates, the Hera marker, H-E-R-A, Hera marker. You can use all these things, our little scissors, things that we have around, and then somebody comes up with this great idea for a template, and it works. So that's the demonstration for today. I enjoy rulers. I really like them, and I like all the fun things that they can do. So we're going to keep doing this. We're going to go through rulers. If you have a suggestion of a ruler or something that you'd like me to look into or demonstrate, I would be happy to do that. Please send me a note, Mary@joyfulandmaryquilting.com. If it's something that I'm not crazy about that I've already tested, then I probably won't, and I'll let you know that. But if it's something that is new to me or something I really like, I would be happy to show you how to do that. The other thing is, I forgot what I was going to say. If you have not liked our channel yet, please do, or subscribe to our channel. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We just hit 2,100,000 views. Oh, isn't that amazing? And we're almost at 34,000 subscribers, which is just, we haven't even been at this 2 years. And to know that we have 34,000 people that have been watching and enjoying our channel, I thank you all. I am so grateful for your patronage. So grateful for each of you being here and joining in our Joyful and Merry Quilting community, for your kindness, for your good and positive comments and support of each other. That's what we're all about. We've had people that, we talked about negativity that comes through, especially this time of year when people are kind of sad. We're trying to get rid of that negativity by bringing them something joyful and happy. Joyful and Merry Quilting. Quilting always makes me happy, but I'm very joyful knowing that I'm visiting with each of you and teaching you. So if there is anything that I have not covered and you want me to, Alex, if there's any questions that we have, I can take a look and see. Let me see here. Oh, Terry, you can always rewatch. This is recorded, so the lives are always here. Anyway. I hope all of our California folks are doing okay. We've been praying for you. We hope that everything is getting better in your area. I know it's still not everything. There's a lot of loose ends right now and a lot of suffering, a lot of loss, a lot of devastation, and our prayers are with you and our hearts are with you too. I know that a tragedy such as that, any tragedy is never easy to go through, and we're so sorry that this has happened. I don't see anything. Alex is texting me here, so I'm just going to wait a second and see if there's something that I forgot. But again, if you want to join the challenge, this is next. We're really excited about this. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. joyfulandmaryquilting.com/challenge. And then take a look in our at our Wednesday quilting video. That's going to be the pillowcase. So I think you might enjoy that. That will be lots of fun. And other than that, I appreciate all your thank yous. I appreciate each of you coming and listening to what I have to say, because I love to show off what I can do when it comes to quilting. This is more craft oriented. It's not really quilting, and that's not always my thing. But, if it's something that I can do, you certainly can do it, because like I say, crafting is not something that I'm very proficient at. But I love to quilt, and I would love to teach you more. So if you have not signed up for our newsletter, we have a newsletter every Thursday. Go to joyfulandmaryquilting.com. There's a free workshop there. How to create the perfect quilt block every time. It's free. You can, you sign up for on our email list. You get the newsletter, and then you get notifications whenever we have anything going on. whether it's a new course, a live, anything like that, we let you know. So we try not to bother you too much. But thank you everybody for coming. And I am always trying to be joyful, but I will always be merry. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you at our next daytime quilting hangout, February 5th, 11 a.m. Central Time. Our next nighttime quilting hangout will be February 10th at 9 p.m. Central Time. The daytime is on the 1st and the 3rd Wednesdays. The nighttime is on the 2nd and the 4th Mondays. So 9 p.m. is our time here, and it's Central Time. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will talk to you again.